Look at it, it's just pouring out. Look at this snowstorm. It is just coming down. That means one thing, I gotta get the Black Cat up and running again. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing to deal with a common problem. Stud through the heat exchanger. I've always heard stories of people putting studs into their heat exchanger and killing the ride because they leak coolant all over the trail. I'll be able to ride back. It's coming from the back, the heat exchanger area. Yeah, I hit something. It's pissing right out of there.
Maybe Weld.
Oh my God. That's not good.
No.
Well, who wants to tow me back?
I got my hard cat strapped in the M-Home.
And unfortunately, it finally happened to me. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. So I'm gonna go and show you a repair method. It's not as bad as you think. And I'm gonna show you 3 different methods. One's do it yourself and one's a little more professional, but I'll just show you what I'm doing to fix my heat exchanger. But first off, let's talk about why the studs fly off. And in particular in this sled, I should have known better. Someone installed some crappy studs before, and they're crappy because it's like cast aluminum and these backer plates crack off. And once they're cracked, the stud is loose. See how this one's loose? And once it's loose, that's a recipe for it to fly off. So now what I've been doing, and I probably should have just replaced the whole track, but I didn't. What I've been doing is replacing the studs with the better Woody's solid backer. These are better studs, they're not gonna fly off. Now, last ride, I couldn't remove these broken studs. They're all seized. And I just thought it was a better idea to, with a zip cut the ends of the studs off so there's putting no pressure on them. I don't know if that was better or worse, but until I get another track, I'm gonna remove these studs. I'll show you what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna fix my heat exchanger. So to remove these broken studs, I found them very challenging. All the nuts are totally seized. I went with an angle grinder, and it took like half an hour. It's so difficult not to damage the track. I went from all directions. But I'm gonna use a nut splitter. I'm gonna crack that nut, and hopefully it's a simple process. So what we do here, nut splitter, there's a cutting edge and a compression edge or force edge. You just put the cutter on the nut, tighten it down. Okay, once it's tight, get an impact gun. And you're gonna crank it and split the nut. Well, let's see, we split something. Yeah, see? Nut is cracked, and that should just hammer out very easily now. You're just gonna have to wrestle with the broken nut, and then eventually you can rip it off, and your stud, your crappy stud is free. Go ahead, install a new one. So the first step of the repair is obviously finding the leak, finding the hole. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not so obvious. I saw the coolant coming out, so I had a good indication of where it was. And then with a mirror and a flashlight, after it thawed out, I found the hole. Now the problem is, most of these well, not all of them have fins on it, right? And these fins sort of get in the way of seeing the hole, of repairing the hole. So you have to find the hole. I got lucky because it's in the front part here, but sometimes if it's on top of the track, you're gonna have to lower the skid down. But find the hole, and then you have to clean up the area, because if the 3 methods I'm going to show you, if the area is not clean, none of them are going to work. So I'm going to get a die grinder, and I'm going to grind out the fin where that hole is, just to make a clear, visible spot. So now I have to look, and I believe it's right behind that fin. So I'm going to die grind the fin out, try not to puncture the heat exchanger more. It's right behind that fin there I saw with the mirror. So I'm going to die grind that out, clean up the area, make it clearly visible for the repair, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's see if I can record this and do the job at the same time. Don't do that at home. Okay, let's try that again. That Metabo grinder sucks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now these fins, there's no coolant going through it. It's just helping as a surface area for heat exchange. So losing a little bit of this is not going to do anything. Haha. Now there's the hole. Let me see if the camera can pick it up. Hope you can see it, but I made a die grind of the fins. I can see the hole from here. Now, why is it so important to get to that stage? Because the 3 different repairs, all of them have the same thing. You have to have access to it, and it has to be a clean area. So with the fins in the way, the holes are on the top. You can't even see it. So the very first basic thing you can do, anyone can do this, they can run to their hardware store and get some JB Weld. I have a marine grade here as an example. It's a 2-part epoxy, mix it together. Now, if you read online, a ton of people do the JB Weld and they have no problem at all. But also, a ton of people do it and they hate it. So I'm gonna guess JB Weld, if I have to take a stab at it, I would be confident doing the JB Weld. But I have to clean it like I did there, because I bet you the people who had bad luck, they just shove their finger up there, smear it on, but there's no way you can clean the area without grinding it out. So the first step would be JB Weld. You can do that in a bind, and I've heard people, some guy said he's had it on for 20 years and there's no problem. So I honestly think it would work, as long as you can have clean, good metal to work with. Now the second thing, if you don't want to take it anywhere, would be to get some 43 aluminum rod. This is pure aluminum right here, and you're gonna want to torch the area, the aluminum, and get it red, smoking hot. Red hot, you might need like MAP gas or oxyacetylene, but MAP gas, the yellow bottle, might do it. And when it's smoking hot, you just go into the red hot metal and melt this aluminum rod. And if it melts and fuses into the hole, I don't see why this wouldn't work. And this is, you can buy this aluminum rod 40, 43 at the hardware store also. I'm tempted to try it, but the third and the best and the permanent way is TIG welding it. And I don't have a TIG welder right here. I got an inverter stick welder, but we're gonna load up this sled in the trailer, take it down to Peterborough, Bruce's Fabrication, talk to someone there, Alex, and he said, just bring it over. And that's a quick zip with the TIG, and that's a permanent solution. The reason I'm doing that is I have a feeling that the JB Weld would work, but I don't want to be riding, and on the back of my mind, I'm going to be thinking, is that weld going to crack? Is it going to fall off? It's the proper way to do it is to weld it. So in the middle of a snowstorm, oh boy, we're going to load her up and do a little road trip. I forgot to mention one thing. Welding it, or anything, you don't want any back pressure behind the heat exchanger, because any back pressure would blow the weld out. So yeah, it's important, very important, to somehow get the coolant out and get a vent so it's depressurized. I'm lucky the backside of the exchanger comes right up to this reservoir tank here. So all I gotta do is pop the rad cap and I have a vented heat exchanger. Well, it was quite the journey in this snowstorm, but we made it. Bruce Custom Fabrication for a little TIG weld on the Arctic Cat. And there it is, ready to rock again. Let's see if I can get in there with the camera and have a look at the weld repair. Yeah, there we go. Welded, good as new, maybe. Welded.